Aloha, everybody. This is Tiggy Maximus with part 2 of episode 179 of the Tiggy Maximus Talks on YouTube podcast. Thank you guys for subscribing, following, spreading your word about this podcast to your friends and family and everyone in between. Thank you guys. Thank you for listening. Keep spreading the word about this podcast, about food, comedy, and sports. Um, like I said on this episode, I was going to talk about this one murder mystery comedy show. It was at the Mic Drop Comedy Club, and this one's a good one. So, Murder at Mic Drop, another installment of a murder mystery comedy show, and it's run by Camille Waters, great comedian, great host, great producer. For this one, you have, again, Nacho being murdered. He was poisoned and he dies on stage. And he did say a lot of things that offended people with jokes and stuff. And I'm probably guessing he probably offended the crowd, he offended the wait staff. So it wasn't too long after that something was going to happen to Nacho. So I guess he drank a liquid death, and I guess it was tainted, contaminated, and Nacho, played by Christian Ricketts, he passed away on stage, and so now the investigation begins, and now investigator Camille Waters, has to go figure out who did it. And so this was a good crowd, and you do have cast members Michael Cologne. I think he is the investigative partner of Camille Waters on the police force. You got Mikey Perry, waiter. You do have Dylan Drabel on sound and audio, special effects. You do have Paula Diaz, one of the suspects. Carlos Figueroa, one of the suspects. Aaron Monte, one of the suspects. You do have the girlfriend of Nacho, played by Rachel Lloyd, also a suspect. And so, great cast, great story. I was just kind of thinking that as I got to sit pretty close to the stage, actually, probably within 10 feet, give or take. And honestly, it was a fun show. Um, I mean, Paula, I kind of like the fact that she kind of went on a tangent when she was being investigated, yet the fact that Camille didn't ask any questions. But Paula Diaz just kind of like went on, talked about drugs, dispensaries, and I was starting to feel that she was probably a suspect. Then there's Carlos Figueroa with his fisherman outfit, and he carries a lot of knives. And he was explaining about the knives, and apparently the crowd turned on him because he did not know or like Steve Irwin. And apparently he was pretty much dead set on being the popular favorite to be the suspect to kill Nacho. But then we also have Aaron Monte, who pretty much has a thing for guns, said that Nacho stole a lot of his jokes and doesn't even tell it right. So, and Paula Diaz had an endeavor partnership with Nacho, but all three have a reason to kill Nacho. Um, Aramonte, he just kind of mentioned how if he was to kill Nacho, it wouldn't be by poison. He would have done it with guns. Um, the thing is, he became less of a suspect because of the whole fact that you know, even though Nacho stole his jokes, but he would have used a gun. But a gun was not used, and Nacho was murdered by poison. So you can rule out Aaron Monte in a way. Next, we we got Carlos Figueroa. I think with the knives though, but with poison, it was hard to tie Carlos to the poison because he, um, well, I mean, he had a reason because he was getting pushed to the side on his podcast, and Carlos Figueroa wanted him on the podcast, but made it really hard. So I could see why Carlos would be angry, but you couldn't tie the poison um, to Carlos in a way. So that was hard. And he eventually was no longer a suspect, I guess. Paulo, Paula Diaz, even though with the drug, she seemed to be pretty much a suspect. But apparently, there was a picture of, you know, Rachel Lloyd, and it looked like she was putting something in her drink, but I guess in a way, um, Rachel Lloyd was actually killed on stage. So then, um, so then apparently the suspect can't be killed. So that cancels out Rachel Lloyd. So then, if it's not Paula, because Paula probably was too jittery to be a suspect to poison Nacho. So, who would do poison? So, it's no longer Rachel, no longer Aaron, no longer Carlos, no longer Paula. So, and then we did notice that Michael Cologne was coughing, and the common thing here is that he was being served a drink, and so all of a sudden, Mikey Perry, uh, I guess, he delivered a drink to Camille, and everyone's like pointing, "Don't drink it! It looks weird." And then there was a weird color to the drink, and then Mikey Perry mentioned something about dropping a straw on the ground that belonged to Camille's drink, and then Carlos asked, and everybody laughed, "How do you test the drink, and how do you put in the straw?" So, okay, it got funny because of the whole thing about what was it? You stick your finger on top of the straw, and then, well, it just made Mikey look worse because not only was he got Nacho poisoned, but he was trying to get to Michael Cologne, who was coughing. Close call. And then everybody saw the drink that was served to Camille, and he was the common link of all three drinks. And so, the whole thing about, I guess, using your finger to do stuff is how you would put the poison in someone's drink. And I guess they tied it to Mikey, and it stuck. So, Mikey is the suspect, and he was taken away by Michael Cologne. So, fun show. Saw some good clues. I was about to mention, like, hey, there's a picture of Rachel. Because it would seem like they were getting almost nowhere because all the suspects were getting eliminated by logic and evidence. So there was almost like nobody you could pick on as a suspect except for, hey, let's look at Mikey Perry, the leader. Overall, crowd loved it a lot. I heard a lot of laughter. It just got more funny because the interaction between the answers the suspects gave and trying to establish alibis, and the crowd was really into it, and they really wanted to figure out who the suspect was. And we didn't like Nacho, but the fact that people actually really wanted to figure out who the mystery murderer was, it made it for a fun show. I would say overall, this murder mystery comedy show was an 8.75 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait for the next one. Let's see how Camille is going to write up the next murder mystery show. See how this is going to turn out. And just so you guys know, I am innocent for all the shows. I didn't do anything. I think I established an alibi, but my alibi is not airtight because I'm trying to make room for food. And Foodieland just came by this past weekend. Um, so yeah, overall great work from everybody. I really enjoyed it because everybody, in a way, you could say pulled their weight. Everybody was about as funny as you would expect. Um, and well, yeah, NBA Finals. So we do have a new NBA champion, the Boston Celtics, the number one seed of the Eastern Conference. They defeated the Dallas Mavericks 106-88 to clinch Game 5 and win the series 4-1. So the Boston Celtics got to raise their 18th NBA championship trophy. I guess in a sense they are tied with the Lakers, who have one in-season championship from the NBA, which just started this season, and they have 17 NBA championships to go along with that in-season championship. So 18-18. I guess you could say that is fairly level. I mean, you could count the NBA in-season championship, or you don't. It's just a matter of preference. Um, but I can't wait to see how all the 29 other teams are gonna restructure their team, do the draft, free agency, drop in players, hiring coaches, strengthen their coaching staff, and just wait and see where all this wheeling and dealing is going to be from all 29, 30 teams, because now the Boston Celtics have a target on their back now, and everyone's going to go after the Boston Celtics. So see how the Lakers will do and all the other teams. So um, Stanley Cup Finals is going on right now. Game 5 in Florida. The Florida Panthers are up 3-1 on the Edmonton Oilers. Um, so that's interesting. That's going on. Honestly, I still think the Florida Panthers will close it out either tonight or probably in a few days. So, Florida Panthers will get their first championship. I'm pretty sure. Um, but of course, you still have to close it out. So, Padres are been doing bad. So, they did sweep the Oakland Athletics, but in, I guess, in a way, from the way when they do something good, they do something bad. So, for every good thing, they get bad stuff in return. And, well, they got swept by the New York Mets after sweeping the Oakland Athletics. So, right now, the Padres are on a 4-game losing streak, and I believe they lost 8 straight road games. So last I checked, they are leading the Philadelphia Phillies in Philly, 3-1. But let's see if they can hold the lead. I would like to see the Padres get back on track, but right now, it's pretty hard. Pitching staff is just holding on by a string. We only got you know, really only a few good, um, pitchers, and it's not pretty getting blown out by the Mets in the rubber match of the sweep, and getting blown out in the opener in the Phillies series. So Padres need to figure out how to keep the defense up, scoring down, and try to score runs again like normal and be competitive. But right now they're just a little bit off the rails. Uh, they need to get reset again. Make people think that the Padres rotation is good with or without Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish. Um, it's hard because those are our best pitchers, and we're going to need them down the stretch. And then everybody needs to be, be on point, be at their optimal best. But honestly, right now, Dylan Cease is getting shellacked. Randy Vasquez probably getting shellacked as well. Matt Waldron probably did not do so well. Michael King can be hit or miss, but he's doing okay today. Last I checked, about an hour ago, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, um, try to fight for those last playoff spots, those last wild cards, and get in and get back to the playoffs. But we'll see. Oh, the United Football League Championship concluded. So the first season under the merger of the XFL and the USFL has concluded their season, and now we're just waiting for the NFL season to start. But again, the Birmingham Stallions have won 3 straight championships, a three-peat. They won the first 2 years of the USFL, and then under the merger, they won the USFL Conference Championship, and they represented the USFL in the UFL Championship, and they shut out the San Antonio Brahmas, who were representing the XFL Conference, and shut them out 25-0 in the championship. So kudos to Birmingham. I guess it shows that the Birmingham Stallions and the USFL is a stronger conference than the XFL. But we'll see how next season goes. Maybe there might be expansion, and the teams will probably get upgraded. So let's see what happens in 2025. That was a very fun very fun United Football League season. The UFL can't wait for. I guess they're gonna start it again in April. Um, Gives players some time from February to April to kind of get things going. Don't need to see supposedly 12 months of football. Maybe 10 months is pretty good, or 9 months of football, give or take. Um, so yeah. Uh, Honestly, I can't wait for the NFL season. Training camp starts in July. Preseason is in August, and the season starts in September, and then it goes all the way to the playoffs in January. Super Bowl in February, then 2 months off, and then you got spring football with the UFL again, with maybe 8 teams, maybe more. So that takes you into the middle of June, and then again, you have a little break, July, August, and then NFL season starts in September. So, and you do have your streaming services. You got Prime Video showing NFL football, NBC showing football, CBS, Fox showing football, ESPN showing football. Um, so lots of ways to watch and get ready for the 2024 NFL season, guys. So that's all for me, guys, about sports. NBA is over, NHL is about to be over, NFL is about to start, UFL is over now, MLB is in the middle of their season now. The Olympics is about to start pretty soon in Paris, France, the Summer Olympics. And more fights coming up. June 29th, UFC 303. Jury versus Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight championship rematch. So stay tuned, guys. Talk to you guys later. Boom. Tiggy Maximus. Signing off. Hey, later, guys. Baby.